Welcome to today's Palak Tofu recipe. I'm Dr. Ishwar and I specialize in treating diseases with diet and not drugs. Today I'm going to be sharing with you some of my secrets on how to get healthy from your kitchen. When I tell my patient eat greens, they run away. But when I say, how about Palak Paneer? They come running back. So Palak Paneer is a fantastic way to eat greens and I'm going to show you a healthier version of how to make Palak Paneer at home. Green leafy vegetables are amazing for more than one reason. They have the highest antioxidant concentration out of all vegetables. You heard that greens have a lot of pesticides, right? That's because they have a large surface area. So if you take 100 grams of spinach versus 100 grams of any other vegetable, tomato, onion, potato, whatever, the amount of surface area that the greens have is a lot more than all the other vegetables. That's why when you spray pesticides on them, a lot of it gets stuck all over the surface and it tends to have a higher pesticide residue. But because of the same reason, they also have a higher antioxidant concentration because there's so much of surface area for the antioxidants to be concentrated in. And for this reason, it's very important that we eat greens on a regular basis. Most people eat green leafy vegetables once or twice a week, but actually you're supposed to eat it twice a day. If we don't eat greens every day, our risk for many diseases like heart attacks and stroke starts increasing. But if we eat greens once a day, the risk drops. If we eat 2 cups of greens every day, the risk drops even more. But if we eat more than that, 3-4 cups of greens, there's not really that much of advantage. So ideally, we should be eating 2 cups of raw greens every day. If you cook it, of course, the quantity will reduce because greens shrink, when you cook. So after cooking, just 1 cup is sufficient. That's about 120 grams of green leafy vegetables every day. So I'm going to show you today how to make Palak Paneer, but without paneer, without cream, using only healthy, wholesome, plant-based ingredients. Shall we get started? These are the 2 magic makers of today's recipe. This is tofu, also known as soya paneer. So just like you boil milk and then add some lemon juice to make paneer, for this you boil soya milk and you add some lemon to make soya paneer. It's also called as tofu. It has a delicious texture. It's very similar to paneer, and when you make it into palak tofu or palak paneer, you don't get to know the difference at all. It tastes basically the same. And this is cashew butter. How is cashew butter made? You have to take cashews, put it in a mixie and keep grinding it till it becomes a smooth paste. The problem is it takes a long time, lot of effort, and your mixie might get overheated. So I've got mine from Sampurna Ahara. You can order yours as well. Check out the description for details on how to order and a special offer. But if you want to make it at home, you can do that as well. Just take cashews, grind it in the mixie and grind it really well for a long time, and then you'll get cashew butter. So let's get started. Let's make palak tofu or palak paneer without paneer. The ingredients you'll need for palak tofu are: the first ingredient is palak spinach, tomato for the gravy, onion chopped, ginger, garlic, green chili, and lemon. Most important ingredient is the tofu. We got ours from Sampurna Ahara. Cashew butter. If you don't have this, you can use cashews instead. Turmeric powder, garam masala, and finally miso paste. If you don't have miso paste, you can use salt instead. I'm going to be using a clay vessel today. You can use a stainless steel vessel at home, absolutely fine. You can use a stainless steel kadai or a cast iron pan, those work well as well. I'm going to be using a clay vessel because clay cooks food a little more slowly. So when we're cooking without using oil, it's much easier to cook. It doesn't stick, it doesn't burn easily. So it's a lot easier to cook in a clay vessel. And remember, one important thing, whenever you're cooking in clay vessels, you need to add some water immediately as soon as you turn it on, or even before turning it on, because if you heat the dry pot, there's a chance that the pot will just crack and burst open. So you should not be heating it dry. You should be adding some water and then turning it on. Then your pot will stay safe. Let's add the onion, tomato, ginger, garlic, and chili. My favorite part about oil-free cooking is you don't have to worry about what to put in first, what to put in second. That order doesn't really make a difference. I put the onion, tomato, chili, ginger, garlic, all of them at once, and I'm mixing them together and cooking it, and it turns out really good. Onion is turned translucent and the room is filled with yummy flavors. And now I'm going to add the palak and the masala in. In goes the palak. We've chopped the palak. You can chop it the same way if you like, or you can just chop it into really big chunks. That also works because we're going to be grinding this next. Our garam masala and turmeric powder. One thing to remember about greens, they're actually healthier when you cook them a specific way compared to raw. So if it's raw, it's great. But when you start cooking, have you noticed the greens become a little brighter for the first few minutes? You can see it right now in this boiling palak. But after a while, it starts becoming darker and duller. When it's brightest, that's the point when you should stop the cooking. So blanching or just cooking for 1 or 2 minutes is more than enough for most greens. The palak is cooked, spices are cooked, and I'm turning off the stove now. Cool it down completely because you don't want hot stuff in the mixie. It's going to spray everywhere. I know from experience. So please cool it down fully and then put it in the mixie and grind it up to a smooth puree with 2 more ingredients. I'll show you what they are. In goes the palak, tomato, onion. If you don't want it spicy, you can take out the green chilies at this point. First one, miso paste. So what is miso paste? It's a healthier alternative for salt. See, salt is not a wholesome plant-based food. It's an additional food that we're adding to our meals. The problem with salt is we get enough sodium from plants. But when we add this extra salt, we end up with a higher blood pressure, higher risk of kidney disease, stomach cancer, and strokes. We don't want that. We want to minimize our risk. So one of the things you can do is reduce the salt that you're using. Add it at the end of cooking. Like for example, if you notice, I did not add the salt while cooking these vegetables. I'm adding it right at the end when we're just grinding it into a puree, and we'll just bring it to a boil once after this. The other thing you can do is add miso paste instead of salt. Miso paste has salt in it and it's made of fermented soya beans. You know soya sauce, right? Soya beans are cooked and then fermented with salt. The liquid part is soya sauce. The solid part is miso paste. So it has salt in it, but luckily the soya nutrients protect you from the harmful effects of that salt. So I use miso paste in most of my cooking. You can do that as well, and if you don't have it, just substitute it with little bit of salt, as little as possible. And then we have cashew butter. This is from Sampurna Ahara. It's just blended up cashews like I explained in the start of this video. If you have it, then it makes your job a lot easier and a lot faster. If you don't, you can just add some cashews instead. Look at that color, so fresh looking, so yummy, and it's so smooth, so creamy. Just look at that texture. Let's take this gravy, add our tofu, and finish the dish off. We do not leave any crumbs, right? So even after pouring everything out from the mixie, put some water, splash it around, and then put it back in the tawa. Not the tawa, the kadai. If there's a little bit of extra water in your palak tofu, it's absolutely fine, no problem. It'll anyway evaporate when you cook it and bring it to a boil, and when you add the tofu, it'll absorb a little bit. Now let's add the tofu. Palak paneer has come to a boil and it smells so yummy. Now, if you don't like the miso smell, it can be a little bit strong. If you don't like it, just boil it for 1 or 2 minutes extra. The smell goes away quite a lot. And the masalas that you put also overpower the miso flavor. So you don't really get too much of it. Look at that boiling. Just has to come to one boil and boil for like 2-3 minutes, because the tofu is already cooked. It doesn't really need to be cooked again. You just bring it to a boil once and make it hot so that it absorbs some of the flavor. That's it. And it's done. I'm turning off the stove. And palak tofu is ready. That's all it takes. It's such a simple, easy recipe, and I think it's one of the best ways to get your family to eat their green leafy veg. You can even make sarson ka saag with a very similar approach. The cashew butter gives it that creaminess that you otherwise get using cream, dairy cream. You can replace it with cashew butter like we have, and replace salt with miso paste. Those are the two healthy swaps to make this a whole food, plant-based palak tofu recipe or palak paneer without paneer. You can enjoy this with rice, with roti, or if you're like me, you can just finish off half of it by the time your family even realize what's happening because it smells so good. Let's try it out. Mmm. This ultimate comfort food. It tastes so lovely. You have to try this out. Try it and let me know how you liked it. Put it in the comments below or send us a message. I would love to hear from you. I hope your family enjoys this delicious dish that just so happens to keep them healthy as well. Thank you for watching. I'm Dr. Ishwar and I'll see you tomorrow with the next healthy and tasty recipe. Be blessed.